Well, hello again. We are now going to be continuing with account information. This time we're dealing with more on the registration side. We've got individual accounts, and we sort of mentioned these a little bit last time, but this time there's one owner. Individual, one owner. No one can make any decisions without a power of attorney. We don't need a huge deal of information on power of attorney. There is a post that is described below that goes into a little more detail if you want to read about that. But there's limited we need to know about power of attorney. If they stop at death, if the client dies. We have financial power of attorney, which is needed in a discretionary account, as we talked about in the previous unit. Durable power of attorney survives incapacitation, things like that, where it's basic definitions, where if you're a little unfamiliar, you probably just want to read that written explanation. But then we have joint accounts, and we need to make sure we understand that the idea of a joint account is any account with more than one person involved, not just the type of account that has joint in the name. There is, as we see here, something called tenants in common. The next one we talk about is called joint tenants in common with rights of survivorship. That joint tenants, a lot of people think of when they hear joint account. Joint account is both. Don't just think it means joint tenants. It's different. But a tenants in common is the most common joint account. It is if one tenant dies, their share is frozen. The entire actual account is frozen. No more trades can process until all of the documents go. But when one tenant dies, their share is given to their estate. All tenants, though, can make deposits. All tenants can make decisions. All tenants can make withdrawals. All the securities are registered to all tenants. Whenever any check is made against the account, it's made payable to all tenants. I want to stress that because there is one thing that only one of the tenants needs to get, and that is the mail. If all of the tenants agree, then only one of the tenants can be designated to receive the mail. But they cannot agree to take away the ability to deposit or make decisions or make withdrawals. Only the mail can be done with one. So let's look at a tick. I opened this tick. This was a great bunch of clients. Purple, green, yellow, blue, and orange. Great bunch of clients. They were clowning. I mean, purple was just the life of the party. Whenever we went out to eat and we were just chatting, purple just was great. But sadly, one day purple went and passed away. And so the account is frozen. Purple's share of the account is taken out. And then it is going to be left to Purple's estate. The remaining four tenants, not nearly as funny now that the clown of the group unfortunately passed away. The remaining four tenants now can keep trading their shares, their investments. It is now a little smaller because their share disappeared. That's why each of their proportions went up a little bit. This one and these two look like they're about a quarter. Orange and blue look like about a quarter in the middle. And they're definitely almost a third over in the final one. They're definitely bigger over in the final one. That's because there's less money, so their percentage went up. The other type of account that we need to understand is the joint tenants with rights of survivorship. This is basically the same as the tenants in common with one primary exception. And that is when one of the tenants dies, the others gain their share. It's done primarily in marriage, primarily with family, with blood. If me and my wife were going to go and open a tick, and I went and died, okay, my share is frozen, left to my estate, her. She gets that money and puts it back in the account, and that's a whole bunch of wasted time. Whereas with the joint tenants with rights of survivorship, when I die, she just inherits. She just gets the money. It's now her account. She gets it. That's the difference here, but everything else is the same between them. The closest way that I could make the circles and sort of show a demonstration is showing an equal circle. There is no separation here. There is no defined lines, no pie chart like it was with the ticks. There are also corporate and institutional accounts. These are going to require corporate documents and lists of authorized traders. When any change occurs, new documents must be provided before trading can continue. Corporate documents, corporate charters, basically are the birth certificate of these corporate people. These are people, they're just not natural persons. These are corporate persons. But the charter is basically their birth certificate. If any changes occur to the company, then they don't match, they don't really exist until those changes are fixed. That's why any changes occur, we need the new documents quickly. Partnerships are similar. Partnership agreement must be on file, must have a list of all the partners. All partners can conduct business, and then if any of the partners should pass, an updated partnership agreement must be done. Because a partnership is defined by the partners. If one of them is no longer there, that partnership doesn't technically exist until that agreement has been updated. That is the end of this unit. Hope you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next unit when we start talking a little bit more about the non-natural persons that we have to deal with.